questions came from one of my live teacher trainings. So the first is, would you ask your students' goals beforehand by email, or would you do that in person? My answer here is that I really find those conversations to be more useful in person. If you wanted to have people do a really extensive intake form and fill it out, I'm certainly not opposed to that idea. I think that that could really be beneficial for both you and your student. But it's been sort of my MO and my vibe to have a lot of those conversations in a seemingly casual way in-person conversation, because I feel like I just get so much more information that way. And I know for me personally, like when I go see a new body worker and there's like 6 pages of questions I have to fill out, or I have to like write down every injury I've ever had, that's just like really like energetically draining for me. I hate having to like write all of that down. I much prefer to talk about it in conversation with the acupuncturist or craniosacral therapist, whoever I'm going to see. That's just very much my personal preference. Is it's like, okay, let me list you all these injuries and like tell the story that goes along with it, and then if they have a question, then I can answer it. It's just like much more interactive. It makes me feel much more seen as a client when I get to tell the story in person and see their reaction, etc., rather than like filling out a form that feels very clinical. So that's just my personal preference when I'm being a client, and so I prefer that as well when I'm the teacher. I just prefer to have those conversations in person. However, if you felt like that would be really good for you and your students to have them fill out an intake form so you have it all written out, I would never tell you not to do that. The other question was, do you ever do longer initial consultations for a first session? Which is a great question. My answer, however, was I rarely do that. But I think that it depends on the client. I have some people that I have set up initial consultations with that were 90 minutes.